So this is something to ponder. So just think about, this is just a little something to think about. If I control my body,
Mm-hmm.
and I control my mind, I control my body, I control my mind. Who is I? Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I know who I is for me. You could say it's that spirit. You could say it's that space between the tick and the talk.
Mm-hmm.
You could say I is that place you go and that you're trying to get to when you're quiet and you meditate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that space. That is I. So I is not the chattering mind. I is not the body that's going through the motions of everything you do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Is the body sensations controlling the mind? Tactile,
Mm-hmm.
smell, is that controlling the mind?
Being
Or is
in
the
the body
mind
is so
controlling the situations? But the reality is I control all of it.
So what's the hack to keep you in that space?
So
the most.
The hack is daily practice,
Mm-hmm.
without fail, and whatever that looks like without expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So if it looks like 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
So the hack is to circle back around and stay connected. But I mean, the real hack is the quietness, because we have none of it. You know, we're just so
Mm-hmm.
stimulated every minute, every second.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit down and meditate, and even if you have just a split second of that opening,
Mm-hmm.
of silence and
Mm-hmm.
stillness, and nothing's truly still, but that is I. That is
Mm-hmm.
where I lives, and people don't know that because they've never experienced.
I was gonna say, I think a lot of people haven't even experienced that before
and none of us. You can't even wrap your head around
Mm-hmm.
it. But
until you experience it.
Well, until you start even thinking about
Yeah.
it. People think that their mind is them and that they're in control.
Well, then I think the key thing that you said is that it's a constant practice. It's not something that you purchase for $9.99 and then you have it in your closet for the rest of your life. It's something that you work daily for.
It is that quietness that you look for, that nanosecond of stillness. That is I. That is where I live.
Mm.
And but people, like I said, people aren't even aware that there is an I, because they think this is the
Mm-hmm.
reality. And the reality is that the I controls all this. And if they can
Mm-hmm.
find the I, that's when things start happening in your life, because the I is going to create whatever you desire.
So tell me about how the technology binds into finding this I space.
So the truth is, you can just do it with meditation. You can just sit there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that's hard for a lot of people. So if you can hack your brain a little bit, if you can jumpstart the right and the left working together, if you can open that third eye, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and start becoming aware with a pill
Mm-hmm.
that's derived from plant medicine. I mean, there must be a reason that the universe, whether it be the gods or our ancestors or higher beings or aliens,
Mm-hmm.
however it came about, plant medicines were put on this earth too, or they're on this earth and they have the capability of enlightening us.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it make sense they were put here for our use, so that we could become enlightened, so that we can go to a place where we can shut down this reality that's not real. So shut that down and create the reality that you desire, not the one that you're living because it keeps presenting
Mm-hmm.
itself. Think about that. Oh, and how does technology help?
What about the like biohacking, like all the things that you're doing?
So plant medicines are a biohack.
Mm-hmm.
It's one way. So a biohack can be a naturopathic. A lot of biohacks, they can go extreme in planting things in your brain, your body, your arm, glucose meters, all kinds of stuff. Things that open and shut the door, turn things off. The biohack can go. the reality of the biohack is taking yourself and trying to treat yourself as if you live in a blue zone, because people in blue zones live the longest. Well, why? They're eating the cleanest, they're drinking the cleanest water, they're sleeping on the circadian rhythm, right? They're getting up with the sun, they're going to bed, when the sun sets. So their body is in the rhythm of the universe. It's in the rhythm of nature. It's in the rhythm of the way that it was meant to be. So just by sleeping better, they're tenfold healthier than we are, just because they sleep better, right? So we in our environment have to hack our sleep just to get to the level that we're getting enough sleep so that we can start doing other things. They drink water that's alive. We drink dead water. It comes out of pipes under the ground.
I think that to obtain all of the education that it takes to even know how to hack, it takes so much time and energy and knowledge and experience to gain these things that it's super valuable that you can do all of that hard work and then, make it an attainable, easy, kind of deliverable service for others to have these shortcuts to be able to be the healthiest that they could be.
Thank you, honey.
Yeah, go.
I mean, I'm certainly not the mother of it, but I think I know my mother, and probably even my grandmother. People are putting their butter in the coffee. Well, she milked the cow and basically took the top off. It's the purest form you could have, and drank it her whole life, gardened.
I like that it's coming back to the basics. That's what I like. That it's not technology to shortcut and make things more complex. It's coming back to our natural state. And
then some of it is, if you get down to the bare root of why we age and our expectations. Like, people say, oh, I'm getting older, so of course I'm stiff. Oh, I can't get up. Of course my bones are, I'm getting osteoporosis. That's what happens to old people.
Yeah.
But we have the science and the technology now to know how to reverse it. We know that most people, most diseases are lifestyle diseases.
Yeah.
We know that if you have in your genetics, in your DNA, certain diseases that you could get and die from, that those aren't, it's not a given, it's not a promise, it's not guaranteed that you will get those diseases. That DNA has to be activated. It has to be turned on. So seeing how we know that, well, how do we turn on this gene that gives us Alzheimer's, for instance? How do we turn on that gene that is going to give us osteoporosis? Well, we know now the things not to do to stop osteoporosis is much more complicated than that. But let's say you don't have cancer and special things. We know that if you eat right, you can help, build bone density. We know that mineral waters, carbonated beverages, leach calcium. We know that weight resistance builds bone density. We know bone compression, which we didn't know that bone compression before. It was more about the weight resistance. So you hack it. If you get up and you're bent over walking across the room, you don't say, "Yep, getting older." How about saying, "Huh, wonder what's causing that? Do I have inflammation? Is it my bones? Is it my muscles?"
But the thing I think is the average human being, me included, does not know any of those things that you just said. You said, we know this, we know that, we scientifically do, but the average population doesn't have access to that information and technology yet. So for you to be able to put it together in a accessible way is really cool.
It's all out there. The more, I think the bigger issue then, so once you decide,
but there's also a lot of fake shit out there, and it's hard to tell the difference.
Once you decide, I'm a 9 in research, but once you decide, the research is out there.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is the belief system that we will start dying by the time we're 80 years old, is the belief system that we are not going to live beyond 100, is the belief system that as we age, we will deteriorate and we are going to die. How about you believe that because of environmental issues, or because of many, many things that I won't get into, you're going to die? And it looks like getting older. But what if you say, but you know what? These things are causing us to get older. Eliminate them. These things are causing our cells to be unhealthy. Let's build ourselves up ourselves up and eliminate it. So all of those things that ultimately is I'm old and dying, we can work on now, and call it a hack, call it naturopath, call it mixing east with west. My biggest thing, which for everybody, is new syncretism, which is the spirituality and integrating spirituality and science. But to circle back around, we have to make people aware that yes, you can grow a new brain. You can grow a new brain at any age. Grow a new brain. Nobody knows that. Some people do. But if you could grow a new brain, if you can choose your destiny, if you can choose your reality, if you can stop aging at the rapid pace that we're aging today, right? That's what they have to know, is that the possibility is there. And once they realize the possibility is there, there's a myriad of things that can be done. Yeah. And then the other thing is, what can I do as an individual that I can afford to do? I don't have like a vast amount of sums. I'm not multi-millionaire. I can't just start, tossing money at, hacking my body or doing crazy things and going to the best doctors in the world. But I think as a conscious community, and plant medicines put us all on that same level, that people are more about sharing that and helping each other, and knowing that we are all going to have to work together if we're going to survive, or that we're going to keep this planet alive so that we can survive on it. Yeah. Much less us surviving. So I think that's the bigger thing, is just making people aware that there are these possibilities, and reverse their thinking. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
You can reverse their thinking, and then think about the brilliant minds and people out there. Like, if you could reverse their thinking, and their thinking started thinking over here, they could create crazy. They'd be like, oh yeah, we could do this, we could do that. Yeah. But if their thinking is what we've thought for years, that we're just going to decline, then they're not using their energies to think of ways to not decline.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
it. Okay. That's a wrap.